On this week's Lokar Car Show, we're attending the SEMA Show at the Las Vegas Convention Center. SEMA is widely recognized as the premier automotive specialty products trade event in the world. The last show drew more than 60,000 of the industry's brightest minds and hottest products to the gigantic event. If you're involved in the automotive industry, then SEMA is definitely the place you gotta be. This 55 F100 pickup was built by Lucas Granisi, who says the inspiration came from the Wile E. Coyote cartoon character. Sure does look like it would be a real roadrunner, doesn't it?
We're here in Battle of the Builders, SEMA 2017. We're having a great time, enjoying ourselves. We really came here to show off the truck and, of course, like any builder does, try and get as many customers as they can for the next year. We didn't get top 40. But we'll give it a go next year and see what else we can do. We're trying to get input from people and see if they see something that they don't like, there's some kind of improvement. We're still doing the show scene, going around showing everybody how cool the truck is. And after that, the owner's gonna drive, he's gonna drive it hard. He's gonna put road rash, chips, everything all over it. He wants to actually put some stuff in the bed, believe it or not. So the wood design, we were sitting there, we were talking to the owner, and he does house decorating, house design, right? He does really awesome house rebuilds. So we said, hey, let's design and incorporate something in here. So we started steam pressing the wood, CNCing the wood, gluing the panels together, hand sanding them and crafting them, and that's what you see here right now.
Bogey Latiner from the All Girls Garage TV show is dedicated to empowering women, both inside and outside the automotive industry. She brought together 90 ladies from all over the country to help her create this 57 Chevy Montage pickup. Some of the ladies are mechanics, but quite a few had never turned a wrench in their lives.
The whole point of this build was to kind of create a community. Bring women together who maybe have never had an opportunity to work with one another, or to give women a chance to try their hand at the skilled trades who maybe have never had a chance to see what using a plasma cutter is like or what welding is like because they didn't have anybody in their lives to introduce them to it. So this was a huge learning process, a community building process, and absolutely a labor of love for everyone involved. So the BMW S62 engine puts out around 420-ish. We haven't dynoed it. We did make some modifications. So I don't know quite yet what this engine is going to put out once it's all said and done, but we did eliminate the vanos, put in a dry sump system, and did some other mods, so it should be a little more powerful than the stock engine. Ultimately, our goal for this truck is really to attract new people to the industry and to celebrate our industry. So once SEMA is over and we get all of the final dialing in that needs to happen, this is going to go on tour of U.S. high schools to really be a tool for promoting the trades, promoting women in the trades, and just generally promoting young people going out and doing what they love and following a career that they're passionate about.
Speedmaster wanted to build a vehicle that was close to the heart, so they chose the iconic 65 Shelby Daytona Coupe. And when you say Shelby Daytona, well, that pretty much says it all.
The original idea was to turn around and build a car that was kind of close to heart, so the Daytona Coupe says it all. So it was supposed to be a American muscle car that was basically, like an Italian design, but also had the handling of a European car. So the Daytona Coupe stood for all of that. So basically, originally it was designed by Peter Brock for Carroll Shelby. It was built in Italy. The body was built in Italy, then it was shipped to over to England, in which then they delivered it to America, and it won every race in 1965. So it signified everything that we were trying to achieve. So at the moment it's got 500 horsepower. We replicated the original model, which is a 302 Windsor, stroke to 347. We put a EFI downdraft system on it. The original was an IDA Weber downdraft system. So we try to replicate the original car as much as possible, adding our DNA, which is a blend of old and new technology. So you pop the hood, it looks exactly like a IDA Weber setup, but ironically it is actually a EFI downdraft system, which looks identical. So. We added some racing vents just to make it look our own, and obviously, you know, the roll cage and all the rest. So yeah, the car looks good, and obviously just in the Speedmaster colors, the black with the red stripe and the carbon fiber made it look just enough to make it look current without being too, making it sure it's timeless as well. So.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, is brought to you by Heart of Appalachia. Virginia is for lovers. Original Parts Group, world-class restoration parts, Brothers Truck Parts, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GM truck restoration. Lokar, quality, plain and simple. The owner of this 1932 pickup roadster grew up around Oldsmobiles and always admired the 32 model trucks. So he had Jonathan Gouldsby combine a pickup and a roadster. What a unique ride!
This 32 Ford pickup roadster we have here is actually a Starfire Blue that we've worked with BASF to create the color. We started out with a Brookville body and channeled it 2 inches over the frame. We did all the chrome work we did from advanced plating. Did a Oldsmobile theme, so we've got an Oldsmobile gauge cluster, we got Oldsmobile hubcaps, and we got an Oldsmobile Rocket 88 motor in it. T5 transmission behind it, and just kind of a build that's towards a old hot rod style that they would do back in the 50s. Power on this thing, we've got close to about 400 horsepower, and since it doesn't weigh much at all, it's actually a little scary on the road. Yeah, very good ride with this truck. We've actually done a couple tours in it. We just gotta make sure it doesn't rain because we don't have no top. Sunscreen if it's sunny, but just get out and enjoy the road with it. The theory behind this was actually the owner, he grew up with his dad with Oldsmobiles, and he likes the 32 truck. So we just kind of combined both of them together, kind of gave it an old 50s style, and just incorporated all of it together and just have one cool little truck.
The owner of this vehicle had only a body on the chassis, an engine, and a drawing of the wagon he wanted when he handed over his '57 ranch wagon to Pure Vision. He says they exceeded his vision.
The Boss 9 engine didn't really come about until '69, but we're putting it into '57, so we're trying to come up with some kind of a theme to tie it in. And since the nickname for the Boss 429 engine was the shotgun engine, and we're putting it in a wagon, it's a two-door already, we said, why don't we just do a shooting brake, which is a European, upper scale sports car two-door wagon. Usually they'd take a sports car and convert it to a wagon, but we already had a wagon to start with, so we just kind of classed it up a little bit. Yeah, we were kind of uncertain as to what the response would be, bringing a wagon to SEMA with all the amazing stuff that is here. But yeah, it's been pretty much nonstop crowds. People are standing around for 10-15 minutes just trying to get one good picture of the car.
Dave Walden said he heard years ago about a concept car Chrysler never built, so he knew then he had to do it. Piece by piece, he and his team at ECS Automotive Concepts put together this 1970 four-door Plymouth Barracuda hardtop.
This car has been built from scratch, from the ground up. We didn't have a car, no donor car. We built it piece by piece, and it's been one of the most extreme engineering feats that I know I've ever been involved with. We've had tremendous coverage. It's went all the way from people loving exactly what it is, all the way to death threats. So seriously, we've actually had people that said that we ought to be taken out and stoned or killed because of what we've done. But when it invokes that type of emotion, that's a good thing. So whether you love it, whether you hate it, you're still talking about it. So that's a good thing. And this car would have appealed back in the day to a young executive type person that had a family, that wanted a car that ran really good, but his wife or significant other said, no, can't get the two-door Hemi. We've got the kids, we got to throw them in the back seat for a picnic. So this is what somebody would have bought. This would have been the best of all worlds. A car that you could take out, okay family, step out of it and then go out and mash the pedal, because that 340 is just like the ones that were running down the drag strip.
It's time for Lokar Lowdown with Kevin Ford.
Hey guys, we've got some exciting news here at Lokar. You may have heard of Clayton Machine Works. We were actually fortunate enough to purchase this company last year. We debuted at SEMA. We presented a bunch of new products, and I'd like to share one of those with you. Everybody knows the LS platform is a superb engine and drivetrain for any kind of car, whether it's a muscle car, street rod, it could be Jeeps, whatever. The one thing that they all have in common, the coils are mounted right to the top of the engine. You know, it's not the most attractive thing. We have an awesome set of billet machined aluminum valve covers. These aren't just a typical, you know, cut out of aluminum and replace it. These actually come with an insert plate that allows you to hide all the factory mounting hardware. That plate bolts in with some standard screws and hardware that come with it. It comes standard with a carbon fiber insert that it's adhesive and it can go in there. You can leave it out. Some guys like to paint them. Some guys will chrome them, polish them. We offer them in polished as well. To get rid of the coils, we've also got a coil relocation kit. It's a simple bracket that goes between your coils, allows you to mount them just about anywhere you want, commonly at the bottom of the motor or something like that. I could talk about these all day. They're beautiful. I'd like you to see them in person, so come see us at a show. Check us out online and grab a catalog while you're there at claytonmachine.com.
Welcome back to the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Tucker brand has been a part of his family history for 3 generations. So Rob Ida decided to craft a fully handmade 48 Tucker sedan as a tribute to the legendary name.
It's got a twin turbocharged Cadillac Northstar that's transverse mounted mid-engine. So behind the rear seat you'd find a V8 turned sideways, mounted directly behind the rear seat with twin turbochargers that hang off the back of that. It's got all modern suspension, 4-wheel independent, 4-wheel disc brakes, rack and pinion, power steering, all the modern things that you'd want in a car. It's heavy, it's got a big wheelbase, it's got all the makings for a good driving car. One advantage that it has over the original platform of the Tucker is that it is mid-engine as opposed to rear engine. A rear engine car at 128-inch wheelbase offers very little weight over the front axle, meaning that the car tends to wander. There's a little light on the front wheels. This car, being mid-engine, combined with ballast added to the front, we have a much better balance and a much better handling car. We knew that the car was unique and special, but it seems to be very well understood, and very happy about that. We're real happy to be here with Axalta, and we feel the car has done much more than we even expected this week.
You know, usually the 72 Chevelle wagon is considered a grandma car, but Caleb Luce created a vroom vroom version his customer could show off.
I had a customer who loved them, who wanted a really cool wagon, so we took it, we actually put Ride-Tech suspension in it, Willwood brakes, an LS3, a lot of really modern touches to make it just what it is today. And right now it's just a really cool pro touring wagon. It was a tight finish. We built it right up to the very last minute. We fired it for the first time on Sunday morning around 3 a.m. So it was tight getting it here, but yes, it drives absolutely amazing. I fired it up, drove it straight in here, and I'm going to be driving it out here tonight. It's actually running the GM Performance, the 495 horsepower Connect and Cruise package. So it's running almost 500 horsepower. So it's going to really be able to light the tires.
Gary Corns jokes that his 39 Plymouth, powered by a 1950 Cessna seaplane engine, is just a plain truck, and he doesn't understand what the big deal is.
So it's a 1939 Plymouth, which they only made 906 of them, I've been told in the last couple days. And I put a radial aircraft engine in it out of an early 1950 Cessna. It's an old seaplane. It's got about 300 horse, 757 cubic inch, and it's got a lot of effing torque. I can't tell you how much. I've only blown 2 belts. It runs off a drive belt for the power, and I've only blown 2. One was on Bonneville and one was with Jay Leno 2 weeks ago on his show. So it's been a really fun ride. If you get a chance, take a look at the inside. I used all the airplane stuff that I bought. I put it inside the truck, and it fit like a glove. If you look at the engine, it looks like it belongs in that Plymouth. And it's really cool because me and my 2 sons and my wife built it, and it's a family build. And everyone says, what's the name of your hot rod shop? And I'm like, Family hot rods? I don't know. I mean, it's just a hobby. This is what we did for a hobby. I actually built it for Bonneville Speedway because I go to Bonneville every year and I like to build a vehicle for Bonneville. And it just happened to be this year. And it just turned out, it's been on the Jay Leno show twice. I'm on the cover of Hot Rod magazine and a couple other big magazines. Roadkill, my biggest fans.
Original Parts Group Incorporated Restoration Tip.
Hi, here at Original Parts Group, we've got a pretty good collection of GM classic muscle cars right here in our warehouse in California. A lot of these cars we actually manufacture parts for, and our latest offering right here is a 65 Chevelle El Camino front wheel opening molding, 65 Chevelle wheel opening molding. Obviously does not fit the El Camino. But we also carry them for El Camino as well. But these parts are actual GM factory correct reproductions. They're bright dipped anodized aluminum. They've got all the correct mounting points. We've got the package comes with the screw kit. And the nice thing about having our own collection of cars here is that we can actually test fit them all and make sure they're correct before we go into full manufacturing and offer them to our customers. So these parts, we sell wheel opening moldings for many of the GMA body lines and also Cadillac and some of the G body lines from the 80s. You can order all these parts online at opgi.com or give us a call. You can order through our catalog and talk to one of our helpful assistants and they'll get your order on track for you.
We'll be right back with more amazing cars on the Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group. The Lokar Car Show, presented by Original Parts Group, has been brought to you by Rod End Supply. We don't just sell them, we race them. H&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. McKee's 37, complete auto and RV care. Advertising Edge, the official uniform of the NHRA. The SEMA Show always has new and exciting products from all around the industry. So we caught up with the CEO and president of SEMA, Chris Kirsting, to get the lowdown on what's new and hot this year.
This year's show is just tremendous. You know, it's the world's greatest marketplace for automotive innovation. And once again, the industry has just come out full bore. And, you know, these companies are competitive and they bring that competitive spirit to the way they show up at the SEMA Show, and that's what makes it so incredible.
The Lokar folks were bubbling over at the Lokar SEMA booth this year as they revealed a beautiful 1940 Ford convertible named Lucille for the owner of Lokar.
It's been a long time in the making, about 20 years to be honest. But why we're so excited is every year we can come out here and we can introduce brand new product. We've used this car to develop a whole slew of new, like, classic looking parts. One of the ones that's actually on the counter today are the retro, I guess we'll call them, throttle cables. Kind of give it that look of the cloth-lined plug wires that you would see on early cars. But now we're going to flow those through with the dipsticks, brake cables, throttle cables, kick downs, whatever you can imagine. Along with that, we've got brackets for EFI and keep supporting all the aftermarket parts like we always have. But we're super excited to show everybody the classic parts that we've developed with a new twist for these the cars that you'll see around SEMA and at all the hot rod shows around the country.
Heartland Customs wanted to take a 1972 American sports car, add some European styling, and see what they could come up with. What they came up with is this 72 Menace Corvette.
This thing is completely 2017 plus. A lot of sleek lines, a lot of body modifications, CNC'd machine parts. We went kind of crazy on the interior. A color scheme that's kind of elegant, high-end, but then with the kind of industrial yellow, it really pops and makes it stand out from the crowd. I can control everything in the car with a 4-digit password on my iPhone. So we've done kind of like an OEM manufacturer. We've gone in and it's got a complete electrical system inside of it that works off that touch screen on the dash like a brand new car would. You've got a 427 LS7 7-liter with built-up internals and the LS9 root-style supercharger putting 859 at the crank and 825 foot-pounds of torque. This has a full roadster shop, fast track, IRS chassis. Everything was dialed in for a good touring ride. It's Porsche handling, but then Cadillac, ride and ride quality. We've had people come by that have done quick videos on this thing, and within 5 minutes had 30,000 views on it. So I mean, it's kind of blown up. I've had other builders come by here and vendors and tell us that it's the car at the show that everybody's talking about.
This week's Best of Show award goes to Jordan Henke and his beautiful 1965 Oldsmobile 442.
The car was a great car when we started. It was basically the only sheet metal work that we had to do on the car was we had to replace a sunroof in the car when we got it. The previous owner had put a sunroof in it, but other than that, the body work on the car was pretty straight and clean. We've taken the 6-liter LS engine and trimmed it out so that it looks like an original Oldsmobile 400 motor, and we plastic printed an air cleaner for it so that, because we couldn't find an original 442 air snorkel, so we plastic printed one to make it look like one. We added the red lines on it. It adds a little bit of class to it, a little bit of muscle to the car. The response for this car has been great. I mean, everyone comes by and compliments us on our paint job, and it's just been amazing.
Next, we're heading out on the road to Stuart, Florida for the McKee's 37 Open House, where we'll meet up with Bob McKee and his friend Wayne Carini from Chasing Classic Cars. Join us next week on the Lokar Car Show.